Hello and welcome to SABS-TECH iVoting platform. This platform allows you to organize free and fair elections online wherever you are. In this tutorial, I'm going to be taking you through how this platform works. To get started, this platform is in two parts, the admin section and the voters section. So we are going to start with the admin section, and then after that we will go through the voters section as well. So I'm going to get started by logging in into my account. So after logging into your account, the first part you are greeted with is the admin dashboard. So the admin dashboard basically gives you an overview about the entire system, what is happening, registered voters, portfolios, number of males, females, validated voters, unvalidated voters, candidates, and so on. Now, because our database and everything is empty, that is how come we have everything set to 0 or empty here. So we'll go through the various parts of the entire system, and then after that we'll add some data and see how the voting part works. Next will be to come to groups. A typical example of groups would be hall names in a setting of a university. An example would be Mensa Saba Hall or Katanga Hall. Now in the case of a senior high school would be dormitory names or dorms. It could be female dorms, it could be male dorms. And in the case of a junior high school which may not have dorm names, you can basically create other names to represent what groups that you want them to vote. Now for the system, it is important to also create a group known as all. Now this is going to allow all participants or all candidates in the system to be able to vote. So we'll come back later and then create some of these groups and then see how they are able to participate in an election. After that is portfolio. During an election, people stand for specific portfolios. Could be president, could be treasurers, could be secretaries, and so on. So the portfolios allows you to add those specific portfolios to the system so that once you are organizing an election, people are able to vote for these specific portfolios. We would take a look at how to add these portfolios shortly. After that, you have upload voters. So to organize an election, you need to have the voters who are going to be participating in the election added to the system. There are two ways of going about adding this. You can do it manually by filling it individually, or you can upload it in bulk. So we'll take a look at that also shortly. And then after that, you go to manage voters. So after you've been able to add voters to the system, you're able to manage those voters by editing the details, deleting them from the system, exporting them, and so on. So we'll take a look at that shortly after you've been able to add some voters. And then from there, you have generate code. So if you are organizing an election in a case of a junior high school who may not necessarily have ID cards, you are able to generate codes for the students to be able to use to participate in the election. Now the codes going to be generated are very unique from each student's own. After that, you go to candidate. When there are portfolios, it means that people are going to be standing for those specific portfolios. So this section allows you to add candidates to the system to be voted for. So we'll take a look at how to add some candidates and then assign them to specific portfolios. After that, manage candidates will be next. When you've been able to add candidates, you should be able to manage those candidates by being able to edit the details or even deleting them from the system. And then after that, you have users. Users are people who are going to have access to be able to use the system. That is the administrator's part. So you can create two roles currently. There's one for admin and then there's one for official. So we'll take a look at what those roles play shortly. And then after that, you have print report. So once an election has been organized, you can go ahead to print report of the whole election or whatever information you want to get from the election. This is where you use in doing that. You can also take a look at user log. So the number of people who have accessed the system, logging into the system, what time, and so on. And then finally, you have settings. Settings allows you to change some details, which is going to show on the front part where the voters are going to see. So the logo, the name, the time the election is being organized, If there's a deadline or a closing time for the election, you're able to do all this here. So basically, this is a general overview of the SABS-TECH admin section.